Around the World Lit Audio. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Episode 4. Chapter 7. Full narration script. Channel intro. Welcome to Around the World Lit Audio, the greatest novels ever written, from every corner of the world, in English. New chapter every week, free to listen. Chapter recap. In Episode 3, Nick invited Daisy to tea and Gatsby appeared, knocking over the clock, glowing with 5 years of compressed hope finally released. They went to his mansion. He threw his shirts through the air. She wept at them. He told Nick he could repeat the past. Tom came to a party and asked, "Who is this Gatsby anyway?" We learned Gatsby was James Gatz of North Dakota, self-invented at 17. The dream is real and it is limited. Episode 4. Chapter 7. The hottest day of the summer. Chapter 7. It was the hottest day of the summer. Fitzgerald uses the heat the way a careful writer uses weather, not as atmosphere but as pressure, as the specific physical condition that makes people do what they might otherwise contain. The heat of Chapter 7 is the heat that makes things crack, that makes people say what they would have kept unsaid, that makes the afternoon feel like something that cannot be survived without consequence. They drove to New York. The party was Tom and Daisy and Gatsby and Nick and Jordan, 5 people in 2 cars, rearranged in ways that were themselves a declaration. Daisy drove with Gatsby in Gatsby's cream-colored car. Tom drove with Nick and Jordan in Tom's blue coupe, stopping for gas at Wilson's garage in the Valley of Ashes. Wilson was ill. He was gray and sick-looking, and he said something to Tom that Tom had not expected. He said, "I need money. I've been here too long. I want to get away. My wife and I want to go west." Tom looked at him. Myrtle was upstairs. Tom could feel her presence, knew she was up there, knew she was watching from the window above the garage. He said he would sell Wilson his car. Then Tom looked up and caught Myrtle's eye in the window, and in the same moment saw that she was not looking at him. She was looking at Jordan Baker, sitting in the front seat of Tom's car, with the expression of a woman assessing another woman she believes to be the wife of the man she loves. Myrtle thought Jordan was Daisy. Tom understood this. He drove on. They arrived at the Plaza Hotel, and took a suite, a room with champagne and ice to combat the heat that pressed against the windows, and made the afternoon feel like an endurance. The confrontation happened as though it had been inevitable. Gatsby had been looking at Tom across rooms and across the bay for months, had been in love with Tom's wife, and had been building toward this moment, this specific meeting, this specific afternoon when everything would be said. He may not have planned it. He may not have known it was coming. But it came. Tom said, "What kind of a row are you trying to cause in my house?" Gatsby said, "Your wife doesn't love you. She's never loved you. She loves me." There was a silence. Tom said, "Daisy, this is all an elaborate joke." Daisy said nothing. Tom said, "Daisy loves me. She loves me and she's never loved you. She married me and she loves me." Gatsby said, "She only married you because I was poor, and she was tired of waiting. She loves me." Tom said, "How long has this been going on?" Daisy said, "I can't help what's past. I did love him once, but I loved you too." This is the sentence. Gatsby said, "You loved me too." She said, "Even that's a lie." She had not been able to say what Gatsby needed her to say, that she had never loved Tom, that it had always been Gatsby, that the 5 years in the marriage were a mistake to be corrected. She had been able to say only what was true, which was that she had loved both, which was insufficient for the dream Gatsby had been building on her behalf for 5 years. Tom knew he had one. He said, "Go home, Daisy. Go home in Mr. Gatsby's car." He said it with the specific confidence of someone who knows the fight is over, and can afford to be generous about the transportation arrangements. They drove back separately. Gatsby and Daisy in the cream-colored car. Tom and Nick and Jordan following in the blue coupe. In the Valley of Ashes something happened. The cream-colored car came through the Valley of Ashes at speed, too fast for the road, or for what was in the road. Myrtle Wilson had run out of the garage. She had seen the yellow car before, Gatsby's car, which Tom had been driving, when he visited the garage. She thought it was Tom. She ran out. The car struck her. It did not stop. Tom's car came through minutes later and found the scene, Myrtle lying in the road, the police arriving, the crowd gathering, the specific quality of aftermath that is unmistakable. Tom said, "The yellow car. What color was the yellow car that hit her?" Someone said, "It was a big yellow car." Tom said, "That's not my car." He was right. It was not his car. It was Gatsby's car, driven by Daisy, and the accident was Daisy's accident. But Tom was also using the truth as a form of misdirection, pointing to the yellow car as evidence that he was not involved, while knowing exactly who was. They drove to East Egg. Nick watched Gatsby from outside the Buchanan house, standing in the dark in the garden, watching the windows, watching the lit interior, where Tom and Daisy were sitting at the kitchen table together. Gatsby said, I want to wait here and see if he tries to bother her. He was standing guard. He was outside in the dark, watching over Daisy, who was inside with her husband, who had been sitting at the kitchen table with their heads close together, and a plate of cold chicken between them when Nick looked through the window. Nick said, "Come away. There's nothing you can do." Gatsby would not come away. Nick left him there. He left Gatsby standing in the dark outside the house that contained Daisy and Tom, standing guard over a woman who was, at that moment, not thinking about him. The shadow of what had happened in the Valley of Ashes lay over everything. Myrtle dead, Wilson somewhere in the garage above the ash heaps, Gatsby standing in the dark, the yellow car that had not stopped. Episode transition. You have reached the end of episode 4 of The Great Gatsby, by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Myrtle is dead. Gatsby is standing in the dark outside the Buchanan house. Daisy is inside with Tom. In the final episode, chapters 8 and 9, what happens next, happens very quickly, and what Nick is left with at the end of it is what the novel has been about from the first page: the green light, the orgastic future, the boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Episode 5 is available next week. Subscribe to Around the World Lit Audio so you never miss a chapter. A new episode arrives every week.